morning, Fort Benning. It is Friday, which means we are that much closer to the weekend, and this weekend is going to be one like no other because the big game is played on Sunday, the Super Bowl. And while I wish my Cincinnati Bengals were playing in the big game, I know that that is a far-fetched from reality. So we are going to be watching the Chiefs versus the Buccaneers, and I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm really hoping for an offensive shootout because I think that we can all agree there is nothing worse than a low-scoring Super Bowl. You hear the saying all the time, defense wins championships, right? I'm sure you've heard this before. But why do we say that? This game is nothing about defense. This big game, the Super Bowl, is going to be an offensive route. It's going to be Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, two guys that have arguably changed the game forever, just throwing the ball all over the field and putting points on the board to win the game. So if that's the case, why do we still say this idea or have this idea that defense wins championships? Defense doesn't win championships. Offense does. Offense is about putting a plan together to outwit the opponent and win the game. Put more points on the board and win the game. So with that idea in mind, let me ask you this more personal question. Are you going through life with the idea that defense wins championships? Or are you going through life saying that offense wins championships? Are you playing offense in your life or are you playing defense? For example, are you just going through life preparing yourself for the worst? Are you just going through life prepared for all the shots that are going to come your way and you're going to deflect them as they go? Maybe you've been passed over for promotion multiple times and you've decided that I'm not going to do anything about it anymore. And while you're defending yourself from all the bad that has happened or the bad that is going to come, you're missing out on opportunities that you deserve. Or maybe on a more personal note, your marriage or your relationship just isn't doing that great. And instead of playing offense and setting up the right plan to improve that, you decided that you're just going to punt the ball away, shift over to defense, and prevent the next argument. If you're going along thinking that defense wins championships, then maybe this is why it sometimes feels like we are losing at life. I believe that we have to get this right. We have to start putting points on the board in our life in order to win. And lucky for us, I believe the God of the Bible tells us specifically that He is a God that wants us to play offense, a God that wants us to score points in our lives. And in the book of Joshua, we're told this. He says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." He's telling us to go for it, right? And I think football, let's go back to football, I think football is catching up to this. Have you noticed this year how many times teams have gone for it on fourth down? For a long time, the only reason that you'd ever go for it on fourth down is if you were down by a bunch of points or it was the fourth quarter and you're in desperation mode. But statistics are telling us now that it's actually better to hang on to the football, to take the risk of going for it and put points on the board. In other words, statistics are telling us that it is better to play offense. It's better to go for it. And I believe that all of us have made an offensive play in our mind at some point. So think about the decision you made to join the Army, whether it was last year or years ago. Nobody joins the Army by accident, right? You made a plan, you went for it. It was a risky, bold strategy, but you did it. And it scored points in your life. Think about all the opportunities that you've been afforded by making that one play in your life. All the places you've been to, all the people that you've met, and all the skills that you've learned and experiences that you've gained. But now, today, I'm convinced that God is telling all of us that there is a new place to play offense in our lives. Maybe it's a simpler play. It's 1st and 10, and it's the first quarter, and you draw out a plan to quit addiction. It's a great way to start a game. 1st and 10, put a plan together. Maybe it's 2nd and 10, and it's your decision that you need to make to enroll into a school. Maybe that's an Army school, like airborne school, or a civilian course that you can enroll into to better your future. Maybe it's 3rd and 10, and you draw up a plan to get out of debt. Or maybe this plan that you are drawing up, it holds a little bit more weight. It's 4th and 1, the Super Bowl is on the line, and instead of punting the ball away like you may have when you played this defensive first mentality, you make the call to call a counselor. You make the decision to call a counselor. You make a decision to better your life and play offense, put points on the board. I think this is the way that we all are going to see championships won in our lives. It's time, and our God is telling us to go for it. So enjoy this weekend, enjoy the Super Bowl, be safe, make good decisions, and we'll see you soon. Have a great weekend.